He sees through orange and blue glasses clearly. The world's orange and blue for this guy.
Yeah, and you seeing through Kyrie's one eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench mob, they're speaking them facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. Miles, you was really. I've been trying to tell you.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT. We got some bonus content, free agent predictions. You already see who's on the screen. We don't even need to do the introductions. It's Hot Take Greg. Miles Davenport is in the building. You're already going to see we did an episode before this, so you know they're doing fine. We're going to start off with some of the big names. You got Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal. Both staying?
Yeah. I think Zach's best shot is staying in Chicago. He'll get a max deal from them, and they'll run it back. And I mean, Bradley Beal, he's the definition of more money, no problems. Because I mean, he's just the bag just keeps getting deeper. Not even his bag on the court, like his family's riches at this point is what seems to be the draw. And I mean, he keeps talking about, they promised to. I keep hearing reports saying that they promised that they're going to try to rebuild this thing and be more competitive. But I'm like, who wants to play in the nation's capital? Nobody. Like Gilbert Arenas was ready to shoot people out there. Like, I don't know who wants to play in Washington. But, they got a lot of money and his pockets are pretty heavy. So that's his deal. He's not really trying to go too far away from home. And I'm sure wifey got something to say about that too. So
yeah, supposedly I think she's pregnant again. So you staying right there, buddy boy.
He's gonna have like 5 million kids. The situation with Zach LaVine is interesting because I feel like when they lose Jalen Brunson, they're probably going to make a run. The Mavs will probably make a run at Zach LaVine and try to throw some money at him and see if they can make a last-ditch effort to pull him away from Chicago. Will it work? Probably not, but it'll be interesting to see if they actually, how that pans out. But I think they'll make a run at Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine will have a bunch of offers. Now, he probably ends up back in Chicago, but the Mavs are probably a dark horse for his services. Get to go play with Luka, which may not be that exciting considering how much he dribbles the basketball. But, just something to look out for.
I think something to look out for too. Mavs actually lose Jalen Brunson. Where does that put them as a team next year? Are they in that same position of conference finals? We talked about it. I don't think so. James Harden opted out, probably to re-up still, to try to make more room to get other free agents. Miles Bridges, we mentioned it, restricted free agent. Do you think he's back in Charlotte?
I think he's back at all costs. I think this team's direction is very clear. They're trying to make sure they keep their guy happy. LaMelo Ball has to be happy. He's the first superstar they've had probably in franchise history, if you can really think about it. I don't think Kemba was a superstar type guy, the superstar potential type guy. LaMelo is. So I think they're going to do whatever they can to keep him happy. I think they're in a position right now. They made it very clear where they want to get cap space, but you got to keep the assets in your team there. So Miles Bridges stays no matter what the offer comes in for him at. They'll pay him $150 if they have to keep him. I think they'll open up a checkbook. What they're going to have to do is shed the cap space. The more interesting conversation about Charlotte is what they do after they keep Miles Bridges. What's the domino effect? I think that they end up
Terry got to go.
Terry's got to go. Gordon Hayward's definitely got to go. And maybe they're willing to shed Oubre too. So I think that those three guys you could look at, they'll probably try to trade. And the Westbrook rumors are very real, as we all know here, and anyone who follows NBA knows the Westbrook rumors to Charlotte's real, and that's because they want to clear the cap space and then go after big time free agents the next year to try to convince someone to come and play alongside LaMelo Ball so they can keep him and make a case when LaMelo Ball's rookie year extension's up. So it'll be interesting what they do, but I think the Russell Westbrook thing is something we should pay attention to down the line, because I think it's all going to it's all connected. Miles Bridges and Russell Westbrook are these things are connected, so it's something to keep an eye on for them.
Yeah, like Miles Bridges, I think, had a real shot at going to the Pistons. I think they were legitimately interested in bringing him in, but it seems like they're doubling down on tanking again this season with the trades they've made. I mean, they took Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, and Kemba from us. Clearly, just to add picks, and it's another youth movement. They're letting the young guys play. They know they're not going to be good this year. So why am I throwing a bag at DeAndre Ayton or Miles Bridges? So I think he's going to be back in Charlotte. I mean, Michael Jordan's got to figure out a way to get from under a couple of those bad deals that he's made. Because, I mean, giving Jalen Brunson the bread that the Knicks might give him doesn't look as bad when you think about Terry Rozier's deal that he has. I mean,
he averaged 9 points a game and got $24 million a year next year or something ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and he's not the most efficient shooter out there. So when you look at that, Jalen Brunson getting 4 years, 105 isn't that bad. So
it's not going to be 105.
All right, 110. 105, 110 is $5 million. It's not a big deal.
Okay. You see, he sees through orange and blue glasses clearly. The world's orange and blue. This guy.
Yeah, and you seeing through Kyrie's one eye.
DeAndre Ayton will be on what team? We obviously know it's not looking like he's going to be back in Phoenix, but some of these places where he was supposed to go, Detroit, nah, we good. Brooklyn is not looking like it's happening. Where's DeAndre Ayton going to end up?
Could be San Antonio. Could be.
I don't think it'll be San Antonio. It's just me. Sign trade. Why would you trade assets when you're trying to get Victor Wembanyama, whatever his name is, next year?
I don't legitimately think. I don't think they're tanking or trying to get that guy, but I could be wrong.
They took Gallo back and they're going to cut him. I don't know. They could take John Collins. They didn't even take John Collins. They took Gallo back, a player that they have no intention of keeping. You know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to guess where he'll end up, because I thought it was the Pistons for the longest time. The Pistons took Jalen Duran, and now it seems like he's out of the plans. If I were them, I'd still take a look at it. What happened?
Could be the Mavs. Honestly.
It could be. The Mavs could try to make that deal. I think that's a realistic option. But I don't know what assets you're going to give. Like, what assets are you giving them back? Like, who do you want? You want Dorian Finney-Smith? I don't know. The Suns might want to get that guy. If you lose Jay Crowder to the Heat, get a Dorian Finney-Smith back in a sign and trade. Kind of feels like you added, just a bald version or a low-cut version of Jay Crowder.
But he's restricted, though. So if they offer him too much, they can rescind their rights to match that. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like they're ready to just walk away from DeAndre Ayton. I saw a report. Yeah, they said that they can find centers that can do about the same as what he can do, which doesn't give me confidence that they want him back. I mean, I'm sure they would want him back at the number that they're willing to pay, but he wants to be paid what he feels he deserves. I mean, Mikal Bridges got a bag, so what am I going to get? Like, I think in terms of this team, Mikal Bridges is more valuable, but I mean, DeAndre Ayton could be a lot more than he's shown. Like, he has the potential. He was the number one pick for some reason, but yeah, we'll see what happens. He could reunite with the real number one pick in Dallas.
That might happen. That's a realistic trade location. Again, Jay Crowder, them losing Jay Crowder, you have some wings on that team you could actually go after, and maybe it makes some sense for you. But That's an option. And after losing Jalen Brunson, it helps a little bit too. So there's a real chance Dallas could be the place he ends up. We'll see.
Now, it is not a deep free agent class. A lot of these important moves that we'll see this offseason are probably sign-in trades. But the second tier of some free agents that we will touch on, Malik Monk, who pretty much played and balled out over that contract that he received with LA. He's talking he'll take a pay cut to stay in LA. Do you think Malik Monk should just try to get the bag elsewhere?
Yeah. At some point, the wheels will fall off in LA, and then he won't be as desirable. You got to take what you can right now, parlay that into a nice deal for him, because, I mean, he's 24. He's unrestricted right now. His future's not set in stone yet in this league. So, I mean, there's a lot of change coming to LA. Are you a big part of that? Are you not? That's something he's got to look at. So I don't know. I don't think he should come back to LA. I think he can go somewhere else, and maybe he develops this 6-man role that he can be. Like, we've seen microwave scorers that play well. They play better off the bench, you know.
Right.
I think he needs to try to go get the bag. LA is not the Lakers currently is not the team that you want to take a pay cut for and come back just because you want to be there. This is not the team where they might, honestly, depending on what they do, might be a playing team again, all depending on really AD, but that's a whole nother episode. Bruce Brown, unrestricted free agent, back in Brooklyn.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it makes the most sense.
I think so. I don't think let him walk. He's invaluable to what they do. I can see a world where maybe that happens. He walks away, but for the most part, I think he's gonna end up back in Brooklyn, and he's a part of their plans. I think the Nets have some serious soul searching to do with their roster, because you can actually Joe Harris could be on the move. You talk about the trade market's interesting. But Joe Harris could be a guy on the move to get rid of that $19 million to create some space, to make sure you're not paying as much of the luxury tax. But the guy's rich. Joe Tsai's rich. He's really, really, really rich. So I think he'll make the space and sign Bruce Brown and bring him back. I don't see anywhere. I don't see how that ends any other way, to be quite honest with you.
T.J. Warren, Victor Oladipo.
Warren. I mean, you don't have to deal with the many injury issues that have come along with Vic. I mean, he's not the same guy he was in Indiana. So what truly are you getting out of this player? And I mean, it's been a year since we've seen TJ Warren play, but I like his skill set. He's a scoring wing who can, put the ball in the basket. That's what you need. You need that. Teams need that. So I think the more secure option is TJ Warren.
I mean, obviously, if you ask me between the two, I'd take TJ Warren because he's not as hurt. But I think they're going in opposite directions. TJ Warren ends up on a contender to plays for a team that needs some wing help, and Oladipo ends up on a team where he can go prove it and try to earn more money, and that's like Sacramento or something ridiculous. So he's going to go to a team like that and play for a bad team and, get the chance to prove himself. I think that's really what he's looking for. So they're just going in two different directions in their career in terms of what their use is, right? That's kind of where I see it. They're trying to get this money back. They're trying to recoup the money he lost from tearing that leg.
Last couple names we'll end off with. Kyle Anderson, unrestricted free agent. Does he return to his team in Memphis? And another name that's interesting out there, who obviously is not one of the big names, but he played very well. Gary Payton II.
I think Gary Payton II he earned a role in this league. Like, he's a good defender who you can rely on to come off the bench. You're not looking for scoring out of him. I mean, he's not, going to light up the league now all of a sudden, but he can come in and give other point guards issues out there. Like, he'll get physical. He's going to make it hell for you out there. And Teams need that. And teams also want to take from winning organizations. So this is one of those things where Golden State has a lot of guys who need to be paid coming up, and they can't pay all of them. Like Looney might walk. You might see Gary Payton walk just because they can't afford to keep all these guys. Like Poole is due an extension coming up. Andrew Wiggins, the same thing. They got to sort out this Klay Thompson deal too. So I think Gary Payton, he'll make an impact on a contender. I don't think he's coming back to Golden State, but I think one of these top teams out here sees his value and what he brings to your team.
In regards to role players, Gary Payton, Pat Bev, Alex Caruso. Rank them.
Caruso, 1. I'd put Pat Bev. Yeah, Pat Bev number 2. And then Gary Payton 3.
Yeah. Well, same thing. I have no disagreements there. Gary Payton track record yet.
I think if he gets the Pat Bev playing time and in the right situation, in the long term, I think we'll see Gary Payton as actually a more valuable role player than Pat Bev ever was. And I think Pat Bev had the debate that he should be Defensive Player of the Year. I'd put my money on likely more that Gary Payton would get it before Pat Bev does.
Possibly. He just needs to play more. I've never seen someone win an award playing like 18, 20 minutes a game. Because then it's like you're playing well in the time you're out there, but you're not really affecting the whole game. So he also needs to go to a situation where he can get more playing time too.
There are teams that want Gary Payton in a second. He has real suitors out there. The Golden State's not bringing back everybody. They got to lose someone. They're going to lose Otto Porter. They're going to lose Gary Payton. I think they're more inclined to keep Kevon Looney because they're already really thin and with their bigs. And James Wiseman hasn't been healthy his entire career, and it's been early, so they can't really rely on him. And Kerr didn't love him when he was there. It wasn't like he was playing him all crazy a lot. So Payton will be somewhere else. I heard Dallas is really interested in him, so I'm sure there are other teams that are going to take a stab at him. Maybe the Lakers take a stab at him for a lower level contract, right? That's the kind of guy you might want to bring in. In fact, it's the kind of guy you really might want to take a look at, honestly. But
you need to bring in. You let Caruso walk for THT, and we saw how that panned out.
Yeah.
Let Caruso walk for THT and his receding hairline, just like his game receded last year.
Oh boy.
Damn. Hold up. There's also another not restricted free agent this year. Anthony Simmons, who I think, of course, Portland, you feel like has to match anything thrown his way. But I could see a team out there throwing him a lot of money and seeing if Portland will match it, just because this kid is talented. Like, he's sat and learned from CJ. He sat and learned from Dame all these years. And he put it together last year and showed what he can do given the opportunity to start. And I think he could be one of these, really good point guards in this league. And I'd hate to see him have to keep playing backup to Dame. But it's going to come to a point where they've got to make a decision. It sounds like they're going to re-up 2 more years with Dame with an extension coming up. So he's another one like Bradley Beal, sticking to his guns, staying with the same team. That holds weight when you look back at your career that, I played for one team. Not many people can do that, but you didn't win anything. And Simmons is 23 years old. I think given the opportunity, he won't be Dame, but he'll give you Dame-like qualities out there as a point guard.
I think Anthony Simmons is better than Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole, you got to make $20 million a year. So it kind of gives you an idea of what what that guy might command, but they're gonna have to you got to resign him. You got to resign him because I don't care what Dame tells you. I really don't. At some point, this thing's gonna get to a crossroads. You're either gonna want Dame forever, or you're gonna want to move Dame, because it's just over, and it's stale, and you can't win. So, they're young around him now. They've got Jeremy Grant, they've got Shadon Sharp, the guy who hasn't played basketball in like 2 years, and that's their 7th overall pick, and we'll see how that goes. And he's talented, but you got to resign your young players because you can't plan. You're not on Dame's timeline. A championship is not within grasp. So you resign your young guys. You make sure you keep those homegrown players. That way you have a life after Dame because you're not winning with Dame. And I think they're going to come to that realization before Dame does. And they're going to be like, okay, our goals are in line. Dame, let's get you up out of here. I think that's what's going to end up happening. And let's get you to a team where you can go compete. I think that's going to be the end goal for Dame eventually in the line. That's going to be what ends up happening. But we'll see.
Hold up. Breaking news. Miles Bridges was arrested today for domestic violence.
Was he actually?
Yeah. I just got the update to my phone. A day before free agency starts. Jesus.
No.
All right. Well, that could change things. It could not, but now this is a lot to unpack in like less than 24 hours for teams that want to bring him in. Because then if you do sign him and then later on it comes out like, oh, he beat up his son's mom and all, you hope it didn't come to that point, but like now it's like you're so late in the free agency process that teams don't want to get burnt like they did with this Deshaun situation.
This is crazy.
Not comparing the two. Not saying that they're both the same, but Cleveland brought Deshaun in thinking that, all right, everything's going to be over. We're going to have him next year. If not, he'll miss a few games. But now it just seems like this is an ongoing situation. So you don't want to go into next season still dealing with something that, could have avoided.
The police were called to the scene. Bridges was gone by the time the cops arrived. We're told the woman required medical attention. Miles Bridges turned himself into the police. He just messed up the bag, bro. He just messed up the bag big time. And this speaks to a bigger situation, a bigger problem in Charlotte. This is Kenny Atkinson.
He knew what he was doing.
Good job not just taking any job. It is so Michael Jordan does not know what he's doing over there, man. This can't happen. This can't happen. This makes no sense. The offseason for the Hornets, Miles Bridges, you got Montrezl Harrell being arrested. Bruh. Miles. Everybody makes mistakes. He's 24. Sure, he'll make that money back. But Miles Bridges literally just fumbled the bag. He might make up the difference rapping. Who knows? But he fumbled the bag.
It's crazy too. I just thought about this too. I saw a bunch of reports saying they weren't even going to pay him the max no matter what. Charlotte was not offering him the max under any circumstances. I think I saw that. So I'm mistaken. They may not do anything they can to keep him in place. So this could get crazy. I think a team will take a stab at him and take a rush at. We'll see what happens. I mean, Beasley caught charges and he was out. I don't know if he's going to go to jail or not. Obviously, basketball's second, and the justice system will do what it does. Oh, I hate saying that. What am I doing? It'll do whatever it does. But he fumbled the bag. He lost millions of dollars tonight. It just happened. He lost millions of dollars tonight. That right before he was going to change his life. So I don't know, man. That's madness. That's crazy. Yeah, we can't predict what's going to happen. We have no idea. We don't know if he's going to get criminally charged and go to jail. We have no idea what's going to happen. So it's hard to predict his free agency status. It's just all up in the air now.
This might be a situation like Kyrie KD.
Holy cow.
He might end up Charlotte and staying there because of LaMelo.
Is he not going to jail? That's the question.
Like, yeah, that's the crazy thing. And crazy that we're doing the show right now, and we just get this update saying that this happened. But yeah, who knows what's happening to him now?
That's the bigger picture and the more important thing. If everything works out and we talk basketball wise, Michael Jordan ain't the best owner, but I can definitely see he having a discussion with him like, don't you dare think you getting paid now. Don't you dare come to this negotiation table. If your number was you wanted $15 million a year, I can see Charlotte offering something like 8 to 9.
I can tell you right now, those are not the figures he was talking about. Him and his boys were on Instagram, and they liked the picture with the caption under it saying if the Charlotte Hornets don't offer Miles the max, then go to Detroit. You know. So I don't know what's gonna happen. He's a really good player, really talented, had a great year. I think he could command $20 million easy on the market. I think he could do that. But the head case, that's nuts, bro. He's trying to be RTB. He's trying to be RTB instead of being just Miles. Be Miles, man. Miles got to get paid. Miles is really good at basketball. Don't be RTB. Oh, my God. Oh.
Well, perfect way to wrap it up. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Bench Mob ENT, we out. No RTB over here.